We often say, I'm suffering. We say it with conviction, as if we have verified suffering to be a solid fact of life. But have you ever looked carefully? What exactly is this thing called suffering? When you say, I am in pain, what does it actually mean? Is pain something that exists outside of you? Or is it your interpretation of a situation? Let's look closely. Something happens. Maybe someone insults you. Maybe you lose something. Maybe you fail at something. The event itself is just a fact. The pain begins after the fact. It begins in your thoughts, in your resistance to what has already happened. You say, this should not have happened, and suffering begins. So suffering is not in the event, it's in your reaction to the event. Now see the irony. We think suffering comes from life, but actually it comes from our refusal to accept life as it is. You can't separate pain from resistance. The more you resist reality, the more you suffer. You can fall and hurt your leg, and that's physical pain. But when you sit and cry, why me? Why always me? That's psychological suffering. And psychological suffering is optional. It is created by the mind that wants to control what life should be. Understand this difference clearly. Pain is a sensation. Suffering is an interpretation. Pain exists in the body, but suffering exists in the ego. An ego can suffer over anything, even over imagined problems. You can sit in a peaceful room, no one troubling you, and still you'll find something to feel sad about. Why? Because suffering is not in the world. It's in the mind that keeps demanding, things must be according to me. So when we say, there is suffering, what we actually mean is, there is an ego that doesn't like what is. If there is no ego, then what remains is just experience. Raw, direct, alive. Not suffering, not joy, just what is. A person who has gone beyond ego does not deny pain, but he no longer calls it suffering. He says, yes, the body is in pain, but I am not the pain. He knows that the observer of pain is untouched by pain. You can test this. Next time you feel sad or disturbed, just observe it. Don't name it, don't judge it, just see it. You'll realize that the one who sees sadness is not sad. The one who observes disturbance is not disturbed. Then where is suffering? We suffer because we identify with the body, the mind, and the story. We say, I am this person, and everything that happens to that person feels like it's happening to me. That's the root of suffering, misidentification. If you see yourself as consciousness, as awareness, then events lose their sting. You still feel sensations, but they don't bind you. You see, yes, this pain is passing through me, but I remain unchanged. This is why the wise ones say, there is no real suffering. What exists is the illusion of suffering created by the illusion of I. The ego wants pleasure and fears pain. And in this tug of war, it calls its own restlessness suffering. But the moment you drop the ego's demands, what remains is peace, even in so-called painful situations. Ask yourself, has life ever promised to obey you? Then why do you expect it to? This expectation is the seed of suffering. Life simply is. It doesn't know your preferences. It's not against you. It's just moving on its own rhythm. When you move with it, there's peace. When you move against it, there's suffering. So, is there really suffering? Not in reality. Only in resistance. When you stop resisting, suffering dissolves like a dream at sunrise. The Buddha called it dukkha, not because life is miserable, but because desire makes it miserable. Desire says, I want things my way. Wisdom says, let things be as they are. Between these two, suffering is born or dies. So look again. The event doesn't suffer. The world doesn't suffer. Only your idea of yourself suffers. When that idea melts, what remains is truth, silent, whole, untouched. And that's the end of suffering. Not by escaping it, not by fighting it, but by understanding that it never truly existed. Because truth cannot suffer. Only illusion can. And illusion is not worth crying over. So stop asking, why am I suffering? Ask instead, who is suffering? And when you find no one there, suffering disappears on its own.